and welcome back to another episode of Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. One of our goals here at the agency is really to try and improve the services we provide birth parents, not just before and during placement, but after placement. We're trying really hard to develop our workshops so that we can provide supportive services for women and men long term. So that brings us to life coach Jen. We'd like to welcome her to share her experience of connecting with the agency. So welcome, Jen.
Welcome. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to talk with you.
Yeah. Can you talk about who you are, a little bit about your business and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Jen Oglesby. I am a certified life coach. I'm also a licensed clinical social worker. And as a life coach, I work with people who are feeling either exhausted, overwhelmed, kind of stuck, like they don't really know what they want to do next, or they can see what's next, but they don't know how to get there. And I do a lot of work with people to help them kind of get reconnected with themselves, sort of quiet those, what I call gremlin voices, those mean voices in your head that say you can't do it or you don't know how, break things down into manageable steps and really learn how to trust themselves along the way. And I would say, like, if I could put it in a nugget, what I do is to help people really listen to themselves and trust that voice within them and let that be their sort of guide through life. And it's really powerful what can happen for people when they do that.
Sure. So talk to us a little bit about when you first became connected with Adoptions from the Heart and how that collaboration started.
Yeah, so one of my clients is actually connected with this agency. So we've done a lot of beautiful work together, and she suggested to me, I think you might be a good fit for our organization to come work with some of our birth parents. So the more that she was talking about, so I had a chance to connect with you and to talk with her, and I realized what a perfect fit it was. I really love the way that you are taking a holistic approach, and I love that and as a social worker too, that piece is so important to me, and there was so much about this that was close to my heart just from my previous life as a social worker. So I really saw an opportunity to work with you all to really help hopefully create transformation for people where they can really dig into themselves and trust themselves, and no matter what's going on, what their circumstances are, what they've been through, reconnect with that inner voice, which gets lost for all of us.
Sure. Well, and I think people don't realize as a birth parent the journey you go through, right? So the focus when people hear about adoption is just, oh wow, you build families, right? It's all focused on child. But there's another layer to that, and the birth parent role is really important. And what we're trying to do is help that birth parent really focus on themselves and get on a better path moving forward. And that's kind of where we brought you in on that. Yeah. Can you share what it was like when you first became connected to our birth parents? You hosted one of our workshops, which was phenomenal. Yeah. Talk a little bit about how that went, what they meant to you, what you expected, and then what ended up happening.
Yeah, it was so great. So, I had a chance to work with you and kind of, get to know a little bit more about your agency and, what you thought might be supportive for the birth parents. And then, so we did a workshop on befriending your inner critic. And the way that it was all women in this particular workshop, just showed up so fully. They were so present, and I really loved not only how they responded to the tools and they were game for practicing, but the community that they created in that space. It's really important in this work that there are safe spaces where people feel like they can be honest and vulnerable. We're talking about tough things. We're talking about feeling like we're not enough. Yeah. We're talking about thinking that we can't do things, or people are going to think we're foolish, or we feel incompetent. So it's hard to talk about it, and it's hard to talk about it in a group, and it's hard to talk about it with a stranger, right? Yeah. And so the way that they all just showed up so fully for that experience, I take people through these tools, and it's an exercise in trust, because I'm okay, we're going to go on a little journey here, and you have to just be willing to go there for it to really happen. And so there was laughter and there were tears, and it really felt transformational just in that short hour and a half time. Yeah. And it was so rewarding for me to connect with them on that level and to give them something that I hope they'll be able to take with them and carry forward. So It was awesome.
Well, and I think the girls felt like they could really trust you, trust the agency. What I'm hearing as feedback from our clients is that they appreciate us wanting to do more with them. It's not just about, I placed my child and now I never hear from you again. And when we bring in somebody like you who's able to kind of dig a little bit deeper, right? Let's go beyond just, I placed my child for adoption. Let's talk about why. Let's talk about how you are. Let's talk about what's gonna happen down the line. They eat that up, right? And then they feel so empowered leaving those workshops, right?
Yeah. I remember like hearing from someone who was like, there was this thing I was thinking of doing and I never thought I could do it. And then after the workshop, it was like, I went and did the thing because she just needed that opportunity in that space and those tools to like quiet that voice that told her like, nobody wants to hear what you have to say.
Sure.
And to put it out there. And that's like what this work can do. And so when you really dig in, like they all did, really great things can happen.
Sure. And I think specifically for a birth parent who's placed their child for adoption, you go through so much grief and loss and feeling shame and guilt over who you are, right? So to have somebody come in and say, you're worth it, you matter, we want to see you succeed, that's so important. And even that one small moment of an hour and a half where we're all on this Zoom call together, they leave out of there feeling so ready and prepared and motivated to do more. And that's the goal, right? We can't fix everybody, but we can try to give them tools to do better.
Yes, and what I love about that work, and when you're talking about the birth parents, and then what I work with people in general is like, we are not just the roles that we've been given. We are not just who people say we are. We are not just the decisions that we've made or the mistakes that we've made or haven't made. It's about getting to that core. Our inner self, our real core of who we are. That piece of us that's like true and open and wise, like so wise. The wisdom that comes out of people. I'm like, we need a Pinterest board of all like the mic dropping things that people say, and they don't even realize that's in there. And so I love this opportunity to be like, let's just talk about like you, like who are you? What do you want? Like, what is your heart calling for? Like, let's clear out all this other stuff. Who are you at your core?
Sure.
And so it's really beautiful to be able to do that in this context.
Absolutely. And then to receive the follow-up afterwards from these women, even if it's just a brief text message the next day saying, listen, that meant so much to me. Thank you for caring. I feel so ready to do A, B, C, and D, whatever it is. That shows that this is working, right? We don't have to accomplish these big goals, but if just one person can feel like they were touched by that, we're doing something. And that's the purpose of why we're starting these workshops and really trying to hit at areas that are going to help them long-term.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about what we are trying to do long-term here in terms of our collaboration and future workshops.
Yes, which I'm so excited about. Yeah. So we're putting together a series of like one-time workshops. So we're doing a workshop in May on cycles of change. So it can be really easy to like look at other people and be like, why are they ahead and I'm back here? Or I thought I had it all together and now I'm back at square one. Like, what happened? We are sort of conditioned to think of, you do one thing and then you do the next thing and then you next and then success, and you just stay in success forever. And so we don't think of change as cyclical. So this first workshop will be an opportunity to really learn about the cycles of change and to recognize where you are in that cycle. And when you know where you are, you can kind of like relax a bit, do a little bit less of that comparison, give yourself some permission and have some tools for how to care for yourself until you kind of get to the next phase where things feel a little less murky. And so that's one workshop that we're doing. The other one we're doing is on goal setting. And I love to talk about this because usually what we do is we set a goal kind of from the outside in. So we find a goal that we want to do, and then we work on like contorting ourselves and making ourselves motivated and forcing ourselves into that space. And so this workshop is really going to be about how do we create goals from the inside out? How do we create goals that feel like gifts to ourselves? And what supports do we need that build from our own strengths, from our own values, from the things that are most important to us that will help us get there? And a lot of times the outcome is the same, but how we feel along the way is so different.
Sure.
And then the big goal is, which I'm super excited about, is we're planning hopefully in the fall I have a 6-week group coaching program that we're going to partner with to do, where we can take a cohort of 10 birth parents on this 6-week journey where we meet weekly. And this is really where I think the transformation can happen. Like, I'm pulling out all my best tools, and we're going to teach them in some different modules. So week 1 will be about inner critic. Then week 2, we have time to kind of practice the skills that we've learned and come back together as a group and talk about how it went. Week 3 is going to be about how to tap into your inner wisdom, and then we'll do a little Q&A and follow up from there. Week 5 will be about using your body as a tool to really help you stay aligned with who you are, help you listen to yourself, and again, really pursue those goals and those things that feel in alignment with who you truly are. And then we'll do a wrap up on week 6. And what I love about this is it's a combination of teaching, but also community. So like I am not like the end all be all. I have some tools, I have some skills, and I know how to teach them. The wisdom comes from my clients, from my participants, from everybody in that group. So they're going to be able to support each other to bring that wisdom, to bring that experience, take these tools, practice them in the real world, and then come back together as a group. And then we'll talk about how do you want to move forward from here. So the last week will really be about pulling together like a toolbox.
Yeah.
So what works for you, what was most helpful, what was most resonant, and having those tools to take with them, and like what do you see this looking like next? So I really see an opportunity not just for like transformational tools, but transformational community, where people can really support each other, and we can kind of create this like 6 weeks of magic that I'm very excited about.
Well, and Jen, I mean, we love you. We love your energy. We love your passion. We feel honored that you're participating in Adoptions from the Heart. I think everything you just talked about is what we want for our clients. We're not just an adoption agency that places children for adoption. We provide these wraparound services. We're trying to dig deeper like we talked about, and we're really excited. I know this is gonna be like a new chapter for us, and I can't wait to see what we come up with these clients. So.
I can't wait either. I'm like, fall is too far away. Like, when can we do this? I'm ready, let's do it. So I can't wait.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for all of your dedication to our clients and the agency. We look forward to the future.
Oh, thank you for this opportunity. It's such like a gratifying partnership, and I'm so excited about what we're going to do together.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, guys. Again, we're honored to have Jen participate in Adoptions from the Heart. If you're interested in learning more about the workshops that we provide, or Jen herself, reach out to Adoptions from the Heart. Thanks so much, and tune in next week.